Hey everybody, welcome to the second Shelby County Youth Council Virtual Youth Summit. My name is Mayada Al-Zubin. I use she, her pronouns. I represent Shelby County District 12 and I'm in 10th grade. A fun fact about me is that I love to read and write poetry. I will pass it to my co-MC to introduce themselves.
Hi everybody, welcome again, welcome. My name is Callista Bird. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I represent Shelby County District 3 and I'm a junior at Bartlett High. A fun fact about me is that I am also a competitive dancer.
Super cool. So as people are joining, please tell us in the chat who you are and what brought you here today. And while we wait, we're going to play a little Would You Rather game. Please put your answers in the chat or tell us what you think about these Would You Rather questions. And I just want to give everyone a heads up. This will be broadcasted and recorded in live stream. If you do not want to be a part of the live stream or recording, please make sure to turn your camera off. And now we will get started with the game. So first question, would you rather have to use Zoom or Google Meets for the rest of your life or have to attend everything in person, no matter what?
Feel free to unmute if you want to answer or put in the chat. What would you do, May?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I'm kind of tired of Zoom and I'd like to have the option to go in person. So I think I'll do everything in person. And most people seem to agree with that. What about you, Callista?
I totally agree. I do in person. If I got to suit up, I'll suit up. I'll be like, let's go. Yeah, Zoom's tiring. I don't think it's healthy to be in front of a screen all day.
And to the people who said Zoom, obviously we like want to hear why, or like people who said in person too. Like, what's your reason why too?
Would anyone like to explain the preference, or should we move on?
You have definitely some conflict there.
Yes, there is some advantages to Zoom though.
You know, like in person.
There's some advantages to Zoom though.
Get out and be social. I feel that.
That's a mood, Suha. Wearing your pajamas. Okay, I think we can move on to the next one. So the next one is, would you rather go to college after high school or travel around the world and then go to college?
Ooh, I think that's a fun question. I think I would travel first, then go to college. Because I mean, you're going to college either way, so might as well get the fun before it.
Ooh. Oh, there's some go to colleges. There's a lot of travel. We got a nice mixture.
Yeah, it is a nice mixture. To the people who said travel first, where would you like to go? And to the people who want to go to college first, like what are you interested in, or what were you interested in? Because I know we have a mix of audience here. Panama, cool.
Makai go to college because she travels. She's not going back. Oh. Oh. Wow. Yeah, Meg, where would you go if you had to travel?
That's a hard question. There's so many places I want to go. I definitely think I want to go to Tokyo first. I always wanted to go to Japan and like just explore the whole region. Where would you go, Callista?
Europe. I'd go to Europe. Wow. That's cool.
There's a lot of interesting places here.
Yeah. Normally here, Paris, Rome, all these other. I'm here in North Korea and Tokyo and Panama and all these other things. I haven't heard these before.
Yeah.
I think we can move on.
Yeah, I think you can too. Okay. So, would you rather go back into strict quarantine and everything shut down until the end of the pandemic, or open everything back up, but everyone must get vaccinated? I can see you're thinking over there, Calista.
This is That's a tough one. But that's the point of would you rather questions, get you thinking.
Okay, it's 100% vaccine right now. Oh, never mind. We got a strict in the chat. That is a fair point.
Very fair, very fair. I have no comment on this one, honestly.
No comment. Yeah.
It could go either way. I have no I have no comment.
Yeah, this one's super hard too because like someone did mention like it is people's choices, but I think I would rather have everything open back up.
Well, if anyone said strict quarantine, would either of you want to explain it? Or I think we can move on then, because it seems like everyone responded. So the next question is, would you rather travel back in time to the 1920s or travel forward in time to the 3020s?
Yeah, 3020s, 1920s, okay.
Hey, who said 1920s? Where are my people? I say 1920s. It's a big party decade. Let's go. Come
Sorry,
on,
I'm more of a 3020 girl.
Ooh, look at all these time travels to the future. I see why that's appealing. May, would you go into the future or the past?
Yeah, definitely the future. I think for obvious reasons because of me. And then like 1920s, I don't know, they just were kind of off and like we're back into a slump. Yeah, I have to get back before 1920 card. Yes.
I just about to say that. Oh my god. Yeah, before that Great Depression hits. I see one. Ooh, I see one comment that I asked if the Earth is going to be here in 3020.
I would hope so. I would hope we haven't destroyed it by then.
Well, it seems like a lot of people want to go into the future.
Yeah.
May, would you like to do the last question?
I would love to. Okay. So I do have to preface for this one that it's like kind of not changeable. So last would you rather question. Would you rather have extremely hot water or extremely cold water for the rest of your life? You cannot heat it back up. You cannot let it cool down. It's either extremely boiling 24/7 or extremely cold 24/7. All right, all is cold right now. Will someone disrupt the flow?
Stay hot.
I just want to know the ones who said boiling. I hope you have wigs at home because your hair is going to be gone. I'm sorry.
If everyone that's answering, keep in mind that's what you're going to be bathing in, washing your clothes in, your dishes, everything that involves water. This is a ruthless would you rather. Would you rather be extremely cold the rest of your life or extremely hot?
To Lindsay in the chat, you can't leave it out like it's just going to be boiling forever. I don't know. Earth's being weird in this universe.
Somebody said hot to sanitize. That's true. That's true. Apparently, we're strict, May.
I think it has to be a strict question because no loopholes here.
This one's a really funny question. Somebody said I like hot cocoa. Okay, well.
Thank you for indulging us with that. Cook my noodles. Yeah.
Okay, I think we can move on, May.
Yeah, I think we can wrap up. Thank you so much for indulging us and participating. Remember to introduce yourself in the chat, just so we know who everyone is, and we can all say hi to you. And now we'll be moving on. So yeah, thank you for that. I'd like to invite you all to follow us on social media, Twitter, Insta, and Facebook at SCYC901, and share anything that stands out to you from this event. Make sure to use the hashtag VYS901 and that you tag us. Let us know what you learned today.
We'd also like to give a special thanks to our sponsors, Shelby County Government, the Memphis Youth Union, and Bridges. Thank you for your sponsorship.
So now that we have everyone here, hey everyone, once again, I am Mayada Alzevin, May for short, and my pronouns are she, her. We are super stoked to welcome you today to this second Shelby County Youth Council Virtual Youth Summit. There's a lot of words there. I know you may be wondering why we are here today. Well, the purpose for today is to share our findings from the virtual youth town hall in a report that we are calling the Shelby County Youth Voice Report.
Hello again. For those who weren't here earlier, my name is Callista Bird. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And we hope that elected officials can better hear our findings from the Youth Voice Report and better understand youth across Shelby County. In addition to what my co-host mentioned, we hope that youth can learn how to advocate after experiencing this youth summit. And at this time, I just want to remind everyone again that today's event will be recorded and live streamed. And if you don't want to be a part of the live stream or recording, please make sure to turn off your camera.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned today. So first, we'll go over our goals. Our goals are to make sure that everyone here can understand the findings that came out the virtual youth town hall and have been compiled into the SCYC Youth Voice Report. We want to share with you how to advocate for the recommendations that came out of the SCYC Youth Voice Report. And we would also like to hear from the elected officials present how we can implement these recommendations as policy.
Today, excuse me, it's been a morning. So I want to ask, how are we going to accomplish these goals Mayada just outlined? Well, today we will start with a broadcast of videos from each committee on SCYC. In these videos, they will outline the recommendations from the Youth Voice Report. After we finish watching each committee's videos, we are going to turn over to a panel with local elected officials. And to conclude our program, we are going to share out key steps so that youth can advocate from home.
All right, thank you so much, Callista, for sharing what we hope to accomplish today. Before we get started, I want to direct your attention to our Youth Voice Report and Discussion Guide. We hope you can use this guide to take notes during the event and follow along with the Youth Voice Report. Our tech support is dropping those links in the chat soon, but it will also be posted on our Facebook for those at home following the live stream. While we do that, we are going to pass it to Freddie and Till so they can share information about bridge builders and how you can be a part of the program.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Freddie Dickerson, and I am the Bridge Builders Recruitment Coordinator for Bridges, and I did not come alone. Teal.
Hey everyone, I am Teal Vickery, and I am the Recruitment and Outreach Specialist at Bridges. I am happy to be here today and share some information with Freddie about the Bridge Builders program.
Good deal. So if you are looking for an opportunity that will help you grow in your leadership skills, get you plugged into your community, and even have the chance to form connections with peers that could last a lifetime, then Bridge Builders Collaborate is the place for you. So here is a quick video that will tell you more about our programming and how you can get involved. Are you someone that's trying to find a way to improve on your leadership skills? Are you someone that's trying to find a way to get more involved in your community? Are you someone that's seeking new friendships? Then Bridge Builders is the place for you. Hi, I'm Freddie Dickerson, and I'm the Bridge Builders Recruitment Coordinator for Bridges. And I'm so excited to tell you more about our program and how you can get involved. But first, I'm going to kick it over to Teal Vickery, and she's going to tell you all about the fun activities that we do with our students. Take it away, Teal.
Hi everyone, I'm Teal Vickery and I'm the Recruitment and Outreach Specialist at Bridges. Today, I'm here to tell you more about our Bridge Builders Collaborate program. Bridge Builders starts off with a week-long summer conference. This is a leadership conference where students from all over the Greater Memphis area come together and are placed in one of our 6 color groups. Throughout the week, students focus on our 3 program areas: leadership, diversity, and community action. The Leadership Conference is just the beginning of your Bridge Builders year, and throughout the school year, you're expected to get 6 different credits. And these are just a way to stay fresh in your leadership skills and continue to get out in your community. Once you finish your year with Bridge Builders, we invite you to come back every single year until you graduate from high school and attend our Bridge Builders graduation. Our application is currently open to rising 7th to 12th graders, and to tell you more about that, I'm going to pass it back over to Freddie.
You can take the first step into being a bridge builder by going to our website, which is www.bridgesusa.org. There are a few requirements you'll need to complete in order to successfully submit your application. First, you'll need to complete an essay. This essay is prompted and you'll answer the questions provided. However, don't think of this as an essay you'll have to write for school, but think of it more as a personal statement. This is our way of getting to know you. We also look at student involvement. So if you play a sport, you're in a club in your school or community, you've received any honors or awards, or you've participated in any community service, we want to know about it. You can also be nominated. On our website, you will see a list of schools and contacts from those schools. Those are Bridge Builder sponsors and they can nominate you. If you don't see your school listed, you can still be nominated by your school's principal, a teacher, or someone that you may know that has been a bridge builder. Finally, you can have up to 2 references. These references can be anyone that speaks highly of you in the community. The only thing the reference can't be is an immediate family member. Finally, if you have any further questions, Till and I are always available via email to support you in the best ways possible. We need you because unity starts with you.
All right, everybody, thank you for watching that video. I'm about to put information into the chat that you can utilize if you would like to apply. So first of all, we have our link tree. This will take you to our application link, more videos and information. And remember, we are gonna have extended our application to April 23rd. So apply by April 23rd. If you wanna watch that movie again, I put that in the chat. I put Freddie and I's email and a reminder to follow us on all social media at bridgesusa.org on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. We are so excited to be here and we hope to see you this summer at Bridge Builders.
Thank you so much. Okay. Making sure I wasn't muted. Thank you so much, Freddie and Till, for sharing information about Bridge Builders. While we learned about Bridge Builders, our tech team has dropped a link to his SCYC Youth Voice Report and Discussion Guide. Please check the chat box for those links so you can follow along. And if you're watching on Facebook, the link should be pinned at the top of the comment box.
We are now going to start with our video broadcast session. So now we are going to watch the Counselors Not Cops Committee.
According to the School Social Work Association of America, social work services should be provided at a ratio of 250 students to 1 counselor. Shelby County schools have an average ratio of 414 students to 1 counselor. That is if the school has a social worker present.
We are the Counselors Not Cops Committee of the Shelby County Youth Council. We advocate on behalf of students across Shelby County in response to issues that we see affecting our city's youth. Youth that attended our Get Educated workshops at the 2020 Youth Town Hall shared their perspectives and ideas on how they see counselors in schools, as well as the policing that happens within SCS. My name is Suhar Rashad. I represent District 4 for the Youth Council. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a senior at Houston High School.
My name is Alana Reese Walker. I represent District 10 for the Shelby County Youth Council, and I am a junior at Central High School. During the 2019 to 2020 school year, 18 SROs were deputies paid by the Sheriff's Office. For that year, the district allowed for up to 36 deputies. $5.1 million is spent on about 130 in-house SROs. The term school resource officer can include police officers, sheriff deputies, private security, and district employed security. Although these officers cannot use guns on school property, they do carry pepper spray. This is included in the $14 million budget that the district has allocated towards security measures.
Counselors Not Cops, its partners, and the youth of Shelby County recommend that the $5.1 million is reallocated and put towards implementing restorative justice practices and mental health services throughout Shelby County schools. Some examples of these practices would include virtual spaces to hold conversations and workshops to help with the stress of online learning, conferences with the student's guidance counselor, reset rooms that are accessible to all students, and peacemaking circles for conflict. Through our YPAR session, CNC got a chance to hear from students from all around Shelby County about how they feel with SROs in their schools. The feedback we received pointed to students feeling that they had no one to discuss their issues with proactively. SROs can only ever respond to incidents, not prevent them from happening in the first place. Why invest in these kids? Can't this funding stay with the school resource officers? To that we say 71%. That is the number of kids who received delinquent referrals in Shelby County in 2018 who already had prior referrals. That is 2,770 kids. SROs are the first link in our juvenile justice center, working as a funnel into itself. It creates a cycle that eventually will lead these students to adult prisons.
CNC stands for the equitable treatment of all students in Memphis schools and the Into the School to Prison pipeline, which disproportionately impacts Black and Brown youth. To genuinely achieve our goal, we ask for the reallocation of funds from the Sheriff's Department and school resource officers towards counselors, mental health support, and restorative justice practices. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Sorry. Thanks so much, counselors, not cops, for sharing your findings. And you can read their findings more in depth in the Youth Voice report. And here's a quick snapshot of their section in the report. At this time, we are going to broadcast the Criminal Justice Committee report findings.
Hello, my name is Ade Kunle Ajayi. My pronouns are he, him, his. I attend Germantown High School and I'm in 11th grade and I represent District 1 on the Shelby County Youth Council.
Hi, my name is Christian Barnes. I go by he, him, his. I go to Arlington High School. I'm in 9th grade and I represent District 3.
Hi, my name is Faith Igadabi. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I go to Hutchinson School. I'm in 11th grade in District 13. We are the Criminal Justice Committee, and we are speaking to you today to share the information we received from the virtual youth town hall and how we think some of these problems could be solved. Our focus is on fixing the issues in our community that impact minority youth criminalization and building a more amicable and trustworthy relationship between authority and youth within the community in order to make a safe and happy environment in Shelby County. In order to accomplish this, we propose 3 recommendations. The first recommendation is implementing racial equity training into the police force to address criminalization of youth. The next recommendation is introducing events such as summits, fairs, or concerts, partner with youth-geared organizations like Bridges to engage and build a healthier and more supportive community that will focus on deterring crime among youth in Shelby County. Finally, we suggest ensuring that local leaders and institutions provide or uplift resources for those who need counseling due to their involvement or relationship with crime. I will now pass it on to Christian to elaborate on what these programs will look like.
With implementing racial equity training, we are aware that the Shelby County Sheriff's Office receives around $1.1 million in funds per year. It was also estimated that there will be a raise in resources needed for the Sheriff's Office this year, including resources needed due to COVID-19. Showing this, we would like to propose that some of this funding be put towards racial equity training. Next, we heard from youth that knowledge of different programs does not reach all parts of the city. The youth who attend the town hall expressed having programs that engage youth in their community, aids crime and prevention. Keeping this in mind, we suggest promoting and partnering with different youth-focused organizations and outreach programs such as Bridge Builders and Youth Villages. Since January of 2016, Shelby County has implemented that inmates with mental health issues have been offered care services such as having charges dropped in exchange for a mental health treatment plan determined by the court. Although this can be useful to many, the jails still receive frequent flyers. This means they are in and out of jail 8 to 10 times a year. Due to this, we propose that more counseling and resources are uplifted for those of need. I will now be passing it to Adekunle.
In conclusion, our goal is to criminalize youth in Shelby County and create a more equitable society by making the county a better and safer place. To reach our goal, we are asking for the Shelby County Sheriff's Department to reallocate funds for racial equity training. We want to increase more enjoyable events for youth engagement in Shelby County. We want to give recognition to the role mental health plays in the criminalization of youth in Shelby County. We gathered our information from listening to youth express their feelings about Shelby County's criminal justice system. One attendee expressed the real crime lies within how society views us. Thank you for taking the time out of your day and listening to us.
Great job to the Criminal Justice Committee. Everyone thus far has been great with sharing their findings from the virtual youth town hall. Again, you can learn more about their findings in the Youth Voice Report. Here's a quick snapshot of the Criminal Justice Committee section in the Youth Voice Report. We are going to hop on over to the Education Committee.
Officials, I would like you to imagine something. Imagine you are a student in a class. What is it like? Is the teacher taking the time, making sure everyone understands? Are they able to? Are all of your classmates getting what they need? These were all topics that were brought up during our youth town hall. As of now, school has become less about expanding the knowledge and understanding of youth and more about meeting a due date by any means necessary. Hello, I am Devon White. My pronouns are he, him, his. I attend Middle College High School. I'm an 11th grader and I represent District 10 on the council.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Isuna. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a senior at White Station High School and I also represent District 10.
My name is Callista Bird. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a junior at Bartlett High School and I represent District 3.
Hi, my name is Risha Manga. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I attend Lausanne Collegiate School and I represent District 4.
We are the Education Committee of the Shelby County Youth Council. We advocate on the behalf of youth across Shelby County and Shelby County schools to benefit the students.
Youth have recognized that current educational methods, especially during the pandemic, ignore the needs of individual students, leading to deteriorating mental and physical health, increased stress, and growing learning disparities. We advocate to provide more individualized learning, whether in person or virtual. We ask that the school board give more resources to teachers so they can provide individualized support with asynchronous and synchronous options, as well as the platform and assignment variations. It's important to remember that one size does not fit all. Furthermore, Shelby County Schools should also make a point of directly reaching struggling students by implementing mandatory office hours and check-ins to ensure that students are receiving the necessary support, necessary academic and emotional support to not fall behind.
As mentioned before, we believe it is extremely important for students to receive education that is catered to them. Seeing as many students feel lost during the learning process, it would be helpful if teachers were able to provide more support to students who need it. Youth in our area have even shared how mentally drained they feel from having work which they don't understand constantly thrown at them. They feel as if the teachers don't care about their understanding of the topic and rather the completion of the topics throughout the year. The current method which many schools use to teach students isn't working and is creating more stress and an overall lack of motivation to do work in our youth today. From our previous youth town hall, we became aware of adjustability issues many students have had with virtual hybrid system across Shelby County schools and in municipalities. With the introduction of online learning, many students have reported degenerating mental and physical health. Many feel drained and stressed by the fast-paced overflow of assignments. In over 300 studies, many have come to the same conclusion: students tend to learn less efficiently in online courses. Virtual learning during a pandemic in such circumstances is inevitable. However, providing various options for students to adjust to their needs and circumstances would greatly improve retention of taught material. In a study by Michigan Virtual, 807 AP students scored an average of 3.21 on the exams against the national average of 2.89. Such systems as Michigan's asynchronous virtual school is reflected in SES's own Memphis virtual school platform. Of course, not all students will succeed in such setting, but it is important to accommodate those who can.
It was also brought to our attention that many students feel left behind in the learning process. Many students shared that their teachers quickly go over an abundance of material in a short time frame without necessarily checking in on the students' understanding of the topic. Other times, the lack of emotional support can also have a negative impact on the academic learning and growth. According to Penn State University, parents from low-income homes are 10 times more likely to report little or no remote learning in their home, with 33% of parents feeling very concerned about their children falling behind. Furthermore, they also state that nearly half of all children are estimated to have experienced at least one adverse childhood experience, 15 more so among youth of color and those growing up in low-income households. Teachers must be given the necessary space to support their students. This can be seen through the implementation of mandatory time throughout the day for conversations as well as one-on-one check-ins. The social and academic needs of each student must be prioritized.
Hundreds of youth across the county have reported declining mental and physical health and increased stress levels. This isn't anything new, yes. However, it has only increased during these unprecedented times. Virtual learning provides the platform to adapt and further support those falling behind, to make the necessary changes that cater to every student in a way that fits them best. There cannot be any progress made without reevaluation. We ask that you take into account the solutions that were offered. Even the slightest change in the educational resources can develop stronger students and thus stronger leaders. We ask that you help us to guide all these lost students toward a new path. And if not you, please kindly direct us to the people or the place that can make these solutions possible. Respectfully yours, with sincere gratitude, the Education Committee of the Shelby County Youth Council.
Thanks so much, Education Committee. They had a lot of great findings relevant to our current experience with virtual education. We're displaying a snapshot of their section in the Youth Voice report. Make sure to check it out to learn more about their findings. To close our video broadcasting, we have the Mental and Physical Health Committee. Mental health amongst youth has been a hot topic this past year, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic impacting our social norms and pushing us into quarantine.
Hello, everyone. We are the Mental and Physical Health Committee of the Shelby County Youth Council. During the pandemic especially, many students have struggled with keeping a balance because of virtual school.
Hey everyone, I'm Mayada. I go by she, her.
Hey guys, my name is Sandy Wynn and I go by she, her, hers pronouns.
Hi all, my name is Kendall Smith and I use she, her pronouns.
My name is Sharon Lee and I use she, her, hers pronouns.
Hello, my name is Micaiah and I use she, her pronouns. We are all here to advocate for the lack of mental health resources in Shelby County schools on behalf of our peers.
Our ask is that the school board and elected county officials provide greater and more specialized access to resources to support youth mental health and consider the policy changes that we propose. Specifically, we want to see more funding for mental health resources such as counselors or licensed therapists, referrals to organizations that support youth mental health like Young Life, Knowledge Quest, Girls Incorporated, and Alpha Memphis, policy changes that allow students to have mental health days, and greater access to reset rooms. During the virtual youth town hall we hosted last November, we heard from youth that some schools within the county have access to a wide range of resources, such as reset rooms, mental health clubs, and social workers. However, other youth expressed the lack of any kind of mental health resources at all. By evaluating what resources are available for students and why this gap exists, we can create solutions to reduce stress and emotional strain on students within Shelby County. Lastly, we ask for policies to be changed that allow for mental health days to be counted as excused absences. I'll pass it on to Kendall.
We would first like to urge increased funding for licensed therapists and counselors. The American School Counselor Association recommends that schools have one counselor for every 250 students. But here in Shelby County, we currently have 441 students for every one counselor. This needs to change. Hiring licensed therapists would ease the workload of school counselors in addition to providing more resources to students. It would also give easier access to therapy and counseling for students in lower income neighborhoods who would otherwise not have it at all. The most common mental health struggles among young people are anxiety and depression, which are linked to lower GPAs. So by offering more aid, schools would also be benefited in the forms of higher graduation rates and fewer students held back. I'll now pass it to Sandy.
Furthermore, we are advocating to change the policy around mental health days. We recommend introducing mental health days as a standard in Shelby County schools. Mental health days would be excused absences that students can use for their personal mental health purposes. In addition to this, we propose to revise penalties around absences by increasing the number of allowed excused absences to 4, and also have 3 mental health days separate from these. This will alleviate stress and fatigue students are experiencing, especially with distance learning. I'll pass it to Sharon.
As a final suggestion, we would like to effectuate school reset rooms as a place for students and teachers to go when their emotions get overwhelming. These rooms would provide space for people to calm down and take a step back from the stresses of school and the home life. By standardizing reset rooms, productivity and healthy coping behaviors will rise among students. And instead of using in-school suspensions as a way to teach students how to improve their behavior, reset rooms really get down to the root of the problem by giving them an outlet to learn how to cope with hardships in a safer way. I will pass it to Micaiah.
To conclude, coronavirus has been tough on everyone, especially on students both physically and mentally. We have to keep youth happiness and health at the forefront of our minds. The current policies we have, even without a pandemic, do not consider these aspects first. How can we expect our next generation to do amazing work if we do not take care of them? How is it possible to be productive if we barely have the strength to motivate ourselves to see the next day? We propose broadening access to mental health counselors, providing students with more mental health days, and providing reset rooms. Please consider our suggestions when reviewing policies that will directly affect youth and their emotional well-being. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Those were all amazing recommendations from each committee. Here's a snapshot of the Mental Health Committee section. Again, we highly encourage you to check out the Youth Voice report. We spent a lot of time writing this report to share with elected officials, adult community partners, and youth across Shelby County. This report is a synthesis of the conversations we had with youth constituents during our virtual youth town hall in November. Tech support is dropping the link in the chat, so make sure you check it out. Callista, which findings stood out to you the most?
I would say I found a couple of things really interesting. I didn't know about the statistics of like there's a specific requirement for a certain amount of counselors to a specific amount of students. I didn't know that Memphis did not meet that requirement. I also thought the idea for restrooms, like reset rooms, are really cool. Like that, I think would be very beneficial. And I found those two things really inspiring. And at this time, we are going to hear from our honorable panelists.
All right. Welcome to all of our esteemed panelists. We hope you enjoyed those presentations from members of the Shelby County Youth Council. Today, we have County Chairman Commissioner Eddie Jones, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Whitelaw, Shelby County School Board Representative Kevin Woods, and School Board Representative Stephanie Love. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Mayana Alzeben. I go to St. George's Independent School, and I represent District 12. I'm really excited to get a chance to talk to y'all.
Good afternoon, elected officials. My name is Calista Bird. I go to Bartlett High School and represent Shelby County District 3. You all just heard our findings from the virtual youth town hall, which we outlined in the Youth Voice Report. Now we are going to ask you all a couple of questions so that our youth participants can get a chance to learn more about how to advocate or implement these recommendations as policy.
Panelists, could you all briefly introduce yourself with your name, title, or position, and what is your scope of work? Please limit your intros to 1 minute so that we can have an opportunity to ask all the questions we currently have. Let's start with Shelby County Chairman Commissioner Eddie Jones.
All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, so I am Chairman of the Shelby County Board of Commissioners, Eddie S. Jones Jr. I represent District 11. Also serve on many boards with the commission, but my everyday day job, because the commission is part-time, I am a supervisor for the city of Memphis in the Department of Code Enforcement.
Great. Thank you so much, Chairman Jones. I'd like to pass it to School Board Representative Stephanie Love.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Love, Shelby County School Board member representing District 3, which includes the northern part of Shelby County, unincorporated Shelby County, North Haven, Lucy, Woodstock area, Millington, and Fraser. I've been on the school board for 6 years. Just very briefly, some of my most invested things that I think that I want to have accomplished before I leave the school board is most definitely the mental health of our children, equity, making sure that the trauma our children endure or are forced to endure is addressed in the best way possible at our school. So thank you guys for having me here. And I was just really, really, really glad to hear some of the suggestions and concerns that you guys have, because I think we're going to have a great day today.
Thank you for your insight. Finally, I'd love to pass it to Deputy Superintendent Dr. Whitelaw to introduce herself.
Good afternoon. My name is Angela Whitelaw, and I am so happy to be here. I am the Deputy Superintendent of Schools, Academic Operations, and Leadership. So glad to be here. So glad to hear your thinking, and along with Board Member Love, as well as County Commissioner Eddie Jones, I am just so glad to be in this place and hearing your thoughts and your thinking about how we can move this work. Hello, did you all hear any of that?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Thank you all so much. I'll toss it back to you all.
Well, thank you all for introducing yourselves. And again, we are really excited to welcome you all to our Youth Summit panel. Our next question is, which highlight from the report stood out to you the most, and what do you think can be done to implement it as policy?
I'll start. This is Angela Whitelaw. So a couple of things that I think stood out for me and that we're currently working on at this current moment. I think that the part that you all talked about, the reset classrooms, because we do have them in about 30 classrooms across the district, and then how to scale that up to other classrooms, I thought was very powerful. So definitely I'll be taking that back to the team. Also, the whole concept of adding more counselors or behavior specialists inside the building, that is something else that Chief Page on our side is thinking through. So again, I think you all brought out some great highlights. So the reset classroom stood out. Counselors stood out for me. Restorative justice stood out for me on today. So just want to make sure that I take those things back to the superintendent, to our working staff, so that we can share.
Thank you. Stephanie Love, Shelby County School Board. Dr. Whitelaw, she most definitely said some of the things that I was going to say, because we do have reset rooms, and we are committed to ensuring that we have reset rooms in all of our buildings, because just like one of the students stated, you know, all of our students need to be able to know and believe that resources are available at the school as it relates to mental health. Even for the counselors, because we are receiving some federal dollars, that is something that the school board is most definitely invested in, making sure that we have counselors in our buildings and making sure we have enough support people throughout the district to support our students. So those were some of the things, that I heard. As it relates to policy, as a board member, we most definitely approve policy. What we do is we take recommendations from the superintendent, or there may be something that myself or other board members may want to look at as it relates to implementing a policy. So there's a process that we go through. All of our laws that impact education, there are some of those that we have to place in policy as well. So how do we put some of the things that you guys discussed into policy? First, that would take us looking at it to see, is there something already in law? Do we already have something in policy that speaks to that? And, students may not know, or teachers, or sometimes principals, they don't know that there's something already in policy. But there's a process, and I'll be happy to take the information back to my fellow board members. I know that you are reaching out to elected officials. Shelby County School Board Commissioner Michelle McKissick, she is actually the chair of our internal board operations committee, where we deal solely on policies. So I don't know if you have her on your list to join in any of those meetings, but I think she will be very instrumental as it relates to getting something in policies. I think she would be very, very instrumental in bringing that to her committee so we can see what needs to take place.
So, am I up? So here's what stood out to me. Pretty much everything y'all brought to the table stood out, because a lot of it deals with problems that we are dealing with on a daily basis. And Commissioner Love said it correctly, but for me, more on the criminal justice side, because that's where my powers lie from the commission standpoint. And when you spoke of the sheriff and what you would like to see from them, and I don't know what the sheriff, when it comes to security, if he's capable of doing that, because that is something that is done through the school system. But I understand how you're trying to get there and what you're trying to do. And to Board Member Love's point, there may already be some things in place and laws. And so Commissioner Tammy Sawyer is my education chair. My Commissioner Amber Mills is my law enforcement chair. And so what I would like to do is to take what you brought before us today, take it to those committees, come up with some programs, if they don't exist or do not step on laws or rules that are in place, and then bring that back and see how we can implement some of the things that you were requesting. So what you've given us sounds easy, but there's a lot that has to go into it. but I am up for that challenge, up for that fight, to put that out there. And I don't have a problem taking it to my board and says, this is what our children are saying.
All right, thank you so much for your candid and informative answers. I really appreciate hearing what you guys have to say. So next question, what advice do you have for youth advocating for the issues outlined?
Well, okay, for the issues that you guys outlined, here's what I would say. Stay involved, stay connected, continue to expound your voices to your elected officials, to the policymakers, to those who can make this happen. Don't just have a one-off meeting and not continue that conversation. The more the conversation goes on, I think the more you get out of it, and to see the things that you would like to see be put in play.
Most definitely. Stephanie loves Shelby County Schools. Most definitely stay involved because your advocacy is greatly needed. But also, I would say understanding that I know, because I know that most of the time when children are talking about the school system, they're speaking of Shelby County Schools, but also understanding that there are charters inside of Shelby County Schools where we're an LEA over. And all of those charters have their own school board. And then we also have the Achievement School District. So even though they're inside of Shelby County Schools has no direct influence over them, what they implement or don't implement. And then of course, for us, Shelby County Schools, yes, stay involved, stay engaged, and also know that there are some things that are taking place that sometimes, parents may not know, sometimes students may not know. So what you're doing now is most definitely greatly needed, because it allows us an opportunity, especially with our deputy superintendent here, it allows us the opportunity to let you guys know what's going on, but also allows us to go back to the district to say, hey, are we providing enough information? Are we advertising enough? Are we placing enough information in the school so that students know who the mental health team is, who the counselor is in the school? If they have an issue, what resources are available to the students? And if the students on the line, like you guys were saying today, if there's information that you don't know, just by having this conversation with us, it allows us to go back and say, are we doing enough?
Thank you. I would say, and to piggyback definitely off Board Member Love and Eddie, that making sure that you continue to be active, and also making sure that you reach out in this way, that you have a forum and you invite people to your forum to hear the issues that you want to raise to our attention. Are we perfect? No. But do we listen? Yes. Do we want feedback from students? Yes. That's why I wanted to attend today, to show that we are in this work, and I am here, and I am a strong advocate for students, a strong advocate for ensuring that your voices are heard. Again, will we agree on everything? No. But can we come to a place of where we can get some things moving and things look better for our district? I'm dedicated to that cause, and I am here. And also, I am reachable. Any student that reaches out to me that has an issue, I'm very blessed that I have a team of people that we can get back with you, that we can support you, and that we can get the ball moving.
And can I add one more thing to that? It's one thing that you have some elected officials on here, but I do think that you need to, all of them need to see you all and what you're doing. So this platform should be a platform with all of the elected so that each and every one of them can hear what the concerns are. I think if you have more of them involved in this process, there's a lot of minds together, can come up with ways to, you know, get you where you're trying to go. And so as the chairman, that's one of the prerogatives of the chairman, I could do that for the Board of Commissioners so that you can have another platform in a way to talk to them all at one time. And I'd love to do that if you guys are interested in that. And I'm sure that they could do the same on the school board as well. And it would just be the electeds and the bridge builders.
And if I can, so this past Thursday, we actually did have a group of children, and Deputy Superintendent Whitelaw, she was also in the meeting, where we did meet with students to discuss mental health, law enforcement officers being in the school, and trying to come to a reasonable ground of how we can ensure that the law enforcement officers who are in our buildings are assets versus liabilities. And then I also know that Deputy Superintendent Whitelaw, her and her team, they've also met with students across the district to hear their voice and to, and to support them with ways that we can all work together to get what's needed. But what Chair Jones stated about speaking to more elected officials, most definitely. I think that you should, make a plan to speak with all of us. Don't leave anybody out. So when change is ready to take place, no one can say that they didn't know. Because we would all know, and we would all know that we need to work together for the benefit of our youth.
Well, thank you for your advice. And I think board member Kevin Woods has just joined us. And if you're here, Mr. Woods, can you briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself? Well, I don't think he's here, so.
He just hopped back in.
Oh, okay. Waiting for him to connect. Okay, well, I'm just going to hop on to the next question for our panelists. The last question is, how can you support the recommendations outlined, if possible?
I'll start. This is Angela Whitelaw. So I definitely want to say that Ms. Love noted the point that we had a group of students who come to the board this last week. And some of those same issues that you brought out today, they were brought out in the session on Tuesday. And what I committed to on Tuesday, that we would have a team to not only talk to Chief Darling, who's over our security officers, but also a team that would be calling in students that represented students on Thursday. So I am committed to ensuring that, and definitely I would like for you all to send this report personally to me. My address is whitelawam@scsK12.org, and I will share it with Director Walker, who's over our student council. So what I'm committing to, that we will continue the work that we promised that we were going to get back to our board, talking about some things that we want to implement for students, and to really look at the work around reset classrooms, look at the work around counselors and behavior specialists, as well as our security officers. So that's one thing that you can count on. The second I want to take your report and also forward that report to Director Walker, along with, would love to have the names of other students that are here on this committee. Definitely, and make sure you put your high school that you're representing so that we can reach out to you so you can become part of the bigger group that we have with Shelby County.
Hello, Stephanie Love, so Shelby County Schools. I am committed to taking this information and most definitely sharing it with my board members so we can see, are there policies attached to it first? Are there laws attached to it, attached to anything? And if not, is there a law or a policy that speaks to this so that we can let you guys know about it? But also I'm committed to something that I've continuously done is advocating for more mental health providers for our school, more resources for our students, more accountability for those who say that they're offering resources to our students, making sure that they follow up. And I'm also committed to just doing what I know needs to be done to support the youth, especially those who are on this line. But also understanding that with a lot of this, there's a financial impact that comes with it. So making sure that we advocate not only to our local body, which is the county commissioners, but also to our state body, who most definitely provide us state funding for our schools, advocating to them in trying to get all of them to understand the bigger picture, that mental health is real. Our children have different challenges that unfortunately a lot of times have to be addressed in the school in order for them to learn academically, and just making sure everyone understands that we should all be in this together because our youth are our future. And I am committed to joining these discussions as many times as I can to ensure that you know that my commitment is real.
All right, and so I'm committed, let me say this, when it comes to educating our children, I am committed to a fair and equitable education, and I'm committed for every child in Shelby County, okay? Whatever the measures and means are to give them that, I am committed to that. I'm committed to taking this information back, especially in the criminal justice piece that you've had, reaching out to the sheriff, reaching out to the DA, reaching out to the public offender, and all of those people who can put their hands on some of this and assist. That's what I am committed to, just like Commissioner Love. And I'm committed to having as many meetings as I need to with you all to ensure that progress is being made on the work that you have presented to us today. And so you have my full commitment for that. And I just want to say thank you, all of you all, for inviting us. And I'll be looking forward to the next one to do a follow-up and give you feedback of what we came up with.
All right. Okay, so I think Mr. Kevin Woods is having some technical difficulties, so unfortunately we couldn't hear from him today, but we will be reaching out to meet with him. But thank you so much, everybody, for all of your answers and all of your insight, your advice, and your dedication. So now we are going to open up to you guys, our participants, in the chat. We will read your questions out loud, but we might not be able to get to all of them in a time frame. So if we don't get to your question, please make sure you send it to our email at scyc@bridgesusa.org so we can get your question answered. And we're just doing it this way so it's not a bunch of chaos from unmuting. So yeah, just let the questions roll in and me and Callista will read them off. We got one question. Yay. What area would be most difficult to approach? So I guess like in our committees and stuff, like which area, yeah, would be difficult to approach?
Well, I'll answer that. I don't think any of them would be difficult to approach. Not doing anything is just like a no, even if you're asking something. So you have to do something. There are all kinds of innovative ways to get things done in government. And so you just have to put it out there and then see how you can get that done. Pretty much the ones that are on this call today are very diligent in the work when they advocate for something. And I often tell our attorneys, stop telling me what I can't do and tell me how I can do it. And so that is the kind of attitude that you want from your elected officials in pushing forward. Is that we don't take no for an answer and figure out a way. You might not get everything that you want, but you would be on that path.
So, hey, so for me, mental health in our schools, I think we can most definitely get that done. I think that is something that we have worked very, very, very hard on. Education, I mean, we're in the business of education, so most definitely. As it relates to crime, we have a process where we make sure our schools, our students in our schools are protected and they feel safe. The outside crime, I think with the county, most definitely Commissioner Jones can support us with that. In the city, most definitely talking to our city council men and women on that. But I think like Commissioner Jones stated, collectively, none of this will be a problem. Although we serve on different government bodies, we all have a duty to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to support our youth. So collectively, none of this is an issue.
I ditto Commissioner Love, as well as Mr. Jones, that none of this is too hard. It is definitely about galvanizing. It is definitely about working together as a team. It is definitely about ensuring that we put the funding there to ensure that we address the issues that are occurring in our district at this point. So again, none of it is impossible. So I appreciate all of you are bringing this to center for us as we continue to think about how do we move forward.
Another question we have in the chat is, for criminal justice, are you open to bringing into the conversations community organizations and civil rights advocates that are currently working in criminal justice reform?
I'll answer that. Absolutely. I don't have a problem with it. Look, I have a law enforcement background. many, many years ago, and I'm gonna stop right there so nobody asks me, how old are you? So, but I worked in the police department. I saw a lot of things, and coming up in this city, what we see globally happening as it relates to social justice and criminal justice reform. There are a lot of things that could be fixed in that, and I am completely open to anything that you can put on the table that makes sense for all of the citizens in this country. I totally support that.
So I most definitely support any and all organizations who have an invested interest on supporting our students, making sure that their agenda is known in public, and also understanding that as a school system, there are federal and state laws that we must abide by. And sometimes, organizations that may want to support us, just with them understanding that there are federal and state laws and also policies that the board has implemented that we must follow. So anyone who has a true agenda to support our youth in getting them the support that they need as a board member, I most definitely support that. Thank you.
And you know what? Let me add something else to that. Not just those that want to do that. Your voices should be heard in the DA's office, the police directors, all of those. That's where everything is occurring, where we see that justice is not right. And so you can't exclude them out of the conversation, but all you got to do is put some things down on the table. But the DA is intricate in that process. That's the person that determines who gets, who goes to jail, who I indict, and all of that. And so then you need your state legislators. Some of them are the ones that are implementing bills that turns into law that may not be just and equal in our democracy. So all of those organizations, but you got to get all of the rest of them together at the table to begin to sing the same song. Because I believe they all know that the system is broken, because if it wasn't, we would not have all of the problems that we're having now.
All right. Okay, I just wanted to make sure every panelist who wanted to go went. Okay, so this is kind of a loaded block, so feel free to ask me to repeat something because there's a lot. So this is from Akaya. Is there a way that elected officials could visit some schools, not necessarily to scare administration and teachers, but just to talk to some students? Like if you received an email, would you be willing to go to a school and listen to the students? And I know another big issue that I've seen in some schools is sexism, racism, and bodyism, which a lot of students experience, but word never gets out or like goes to a higher surface. Of course, dress code is decided by the school, but the board makes decisions as well. So is there a certain person to discuss that so that the word gets out?
Hey, so what I'll say is we, as a school board member, we're always invited to visit schools. I just want to make sure the students understand that there is a process. As a school board member, I won't just come to a school because the student reaches out. I will connect with the principal of that school and let the principal know that I received an email, to come to a school and allow the principal to prepare a space and an opportunity so that I can come into this school and speak with the students, because I always want to make sure that the principal of this school knows what's taking place. I will say that that has happened several times. So the best person to get in touch with about this, start with your principal, and let your principal know that you've reached out to board members, or let your principal know that you would like to speak to board members about certain things. But most definitely start with your principal first, and then we'll move from there.
This is Angela Whitelaw. So definitely, I would definitely want you to start with your principal. But again, if you want to send me an email, because I always, and whenever you send me an email, make sure that it's okay if I copy people, because we have a team of people who can come and support the work. And I want us to support you and the work. So start with your principal. But if there's an email that you want to write me, definitely I'll write back. I'll say, let me send this to such and such, but I'm going to put your principal on it. So make sure, to Ms. Love's point, because I'm very transparent. And the only way that we can solve a problem, work on a problem, is that we're honest about all the people who have the concern, as well as all the people that got to be in the work with us. So just want to make sure that whenever you send it, what I always encourage students not to do, you can't say at the bottom, please do not share, because I share it so that we all can so we all can solve it. So just want to make sure that you know it, because if you ask me not to share it, then I don't know how I can work on it.
And the only thing I would add to that, this is Kevin Woods here, sorry about the technical difficulties earlier, is don't wait till there's a problem. Engage your elected officials before there's a challenge. I think that's when you'll start to notice that you build those relationships and you can be proactive at supporting your school as opposed to being reactive.
And so as a county commissioner, I do respect the protocols that are already established with the school board. So, and I don't have a problem visiting any school, but the protocol is that you start with the principal, and because it would be disrespectful, even though I'm elected, to do that and not follow the guidelines that are already in place. So, but I'm committed to that. If all of those protocols have been established, I have no problem coming and speaking to children.
If that is it, we are going to move on to the last question of today, and that is what someone asked in the chat: what will happen if you cannot fix a problem?
Let me say this. What will happen if we can't fix a problem? Let me, if I could rephrase that. What will happen if we get to a place where we are stuck with how we think we should handle the problem? Because a lot of times I think that students have one way of thinking through how we should solve it. And then sometimes adults think about a different way. You're young adults as you're coming, and sometimes the administration, they think of a different way, but it still solves the problem. So I think that we have to make sure that did we not solve the problem, or we just didn't solve it the way that probably students thought we should have thought through it. So I always want to make sure, excuse me, that I am very clear if we didn't solve a problem, because our goal is to solve it. If it's something that is hindering the impact, the education of our students, then we have to solve it. We can't leave it unsolved. So I would want to really look at that and not answer that as a yes or no, but answer it as, I want to make sure that we understand what the problem is. We understand as the administration or as the district, how can we solve it with student voice? But again, every now and then, we just may not agree with how it was solved. So just want us to put a pin there, because my goal is to solve every issue that's going to impact students and their learning.
And so, and I'm gonna add to what Dr. Whitelaw said. She's absolutely correct, because when I heard that question, I'm like, hey, it depends on how you define that, how you define that question. It's kind of difficult to answer. How do we handle that? And so I have been a proponent of failure is not an option. Not an option with me. And so what we have to do is to find ways to get to where you're going. It might not get you there as fast as you want to go, but any progress is better than nothing at all. And so what I want each of you to understand, there are rules and laws that governs a lot of what we do. So when I tell you, when we're trying to resolve something, it's like going through a minefield. So we got to dodge all of these mines just to get to the other side of the equation from where we started. And so, although it may sound simple, it really isn't. But I know that each one of them on this panel with you today is committed to figuring out a way how to get there.
And Commissioner Jones, Kevin Woods here. The only thing I would add to that is really echo the comments of both of you, which is there are no problems we can't solve together. They're not just adult problems or youth problems, but when we come together, we can solve all problems. Sometimes it takes us putting all our heads together. Sometimes it takes us to just listen to our youth forces, which is what this is all about today. And so I just encourage you all to keep using your voices, keep bringing your best ideas. Bridges have brought a number of ideas to Shelby County School Boards that we've implemented. So continue to raise your voices, raise your hands, and speak out. And we as adults know that we don't have all the answers, but together we can solve everything. Thank you.
And for me, I know I've looked in the chat as well. So I'll say this because I am a parent and I have children in the school system. I know sometimes our students who do go to the administration, they may not get a response of the answers they feel they need. Most definitely, I think Kevin Woods mentioned it, reach out to your board members. I receive a lot of information from people and I just ask the question, what's the process? Is there a policy attached to this? What does the law say? Because I also know that we have administrative rules and regs, and then we have quote unquote practices. And sometimes those practices inside the district are not beneficial to our students. And it's when that information is brought to us, it just gives us an opportunity to address it. Does this practice make the most sense for our students or for our schools or for our teachers? And we're faced with that all the time. So I know that there may be some hesitancy to contact the administration or reach out to the administration for fear of whatever, but most definitely you can reach out to your board members because that's what we're here to answer your questions. But also I'm asking the students, even with what Dr. Whitelaw stated, just understanding that some things are the way they are because there is a law attached to it and we're mandated to do certain things. There's a policy attached to it where schools are mandated to do certain things. But there most definitely are ways to go back and revisit that policy. Is it working in the best interest of our students? If there are practices or administrative rules that take place in the school, is it working for the benefit of our students? And if not, that's when we have a conversation to figure out how we fix it so that it's working on behalf of our students.
All right, thank you so much, really, for this panel and like answering all our questions and being committed to our cause. For me, today was a true learning experience, and it felt really eye-opening. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today to amplify youth voice. We are super excited for the future of Shelby County, where youth voice is included in major decisions impacting our communities.
Elected officials, thank you so much for being here today. We truly appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join our virtual youth summit and listen to youth voices in our youth voice report. We would like to give a special thanks to our Shelby County commissioners, Shelby County School Board representatives, and all the youth participants and viewers.
At this time, we are going to drop a link in the chat. This link is for youth to fill out and share your thoughts on how today went. It is a quick survey so that we can learn from our experience today and make future events like this more efficient and impactful.
Adult community partners and elected officials, we also invite you to click the link as well to give us your feedback. Please fill it out and let us know what you thought about today's event by selecting adult participant in the first question. We hope that we can continue to collaborate in the future and to improve our community and include youth voice in local government.
When you finish, sorry, please go ahead.
No, I thought you were asking us to say something, so thank you.
Thank you. When you finish filling out those forms, there's another link in the chat that will lead you to the Youth Voice report and also includes steps on how to become a youth advocate. We highly encourage all youth watching or joining us for this event to read the report and the steps on how to become a youth advocate. Applications for the Shelby County Youth Council are also currently open, so please send in your application if you want to learn how to be an advocate in our community. Jake is currently dropping that in the chat. There's no deadline for applications, but we are accepting them on a rolling basis until all spots on the council are filled up.
So please make sure you apply. Thank you all so much for being here today. This concludes our SCYC Virtual Youth Summit. SCYC members, don't hang up. We're just going to stay on for a quick closing together.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Thank you for the invite. Have a great day.
Bye now. All right, thank you for the invite.
Thank you to all our guests who've joined us. Thank you for joining us. You all are free to go. Thank you for being here. SCYC, if you all could just stay on a little longer, we're just going to debrief real quick.